Welcome, Thunderbird Nation. We ready for the Thunderbird Coaches Show. I'm Spencer McLaughlin in for John Smith here. Delane Fitzgerald and student-athletes Lyle Santos, Colin Gardner joining me here today. Guys, the recap of the win over UTEP is brought to you by Retro Fitness. And, Coach, I want to start with you. How have you been for the last 48 hours?
It's been a good 48 hours. Spencer, the other night was fun. We had to put it away and get ready for next week, but last week was fun. Hey, let's back up a little bit. Let's back up. John has skipped out on us today. For those of y'all at home, John is representing our country against Scotland in the Friendship Cup. So he is, those of y'all that don't know, John's a scratch golfer, and I'm sure he's probably shooting par on some golf course that I can't afford to play on.
He's not quite scratch. I can beat him.
Hey, can you?
Oh, yeah.
Are you fighting words? Here we
go. I know he's watching or he's listening out there. And guess what? He's not going to say a darn thing. I
bet he plays well today, and I bet the U.S. wins. There's my bet.
I hope so.
Now, what was your question?
How have you been for the last 48 hours? What's been going through your head, Coach?
Through my head. Well, in the last how long has it been since we played? So
I lost track of time. I think it's 36 hours. Maybe Regan can help me out.
Out in the West Texas town of El Paso. It was a good weekend. A nice trip. Nice trip to UTEP. Got the guys ready. Nice hotel. Great food. Did I ever tell you how good the boots are in El Paso?
No, I don't think you did.
If you wear boots, there's no place in the country better to buy boots than El Paso, Texas.
I don't think cowboy boots really fit with my style because I'm pretty short, so they'd go up to my knees. I don't think that's the style that you're looking for.
Yeah, but how tall are you?
5'8.5".
So you could use 2 inches. You get you some of them long soles now.
You're exactly right.
Get you some of them cockroach killers. But anyway, from time to time, I like them. The boots are great. Spencer, the food was great. Food's phenomenal in that town. The people were really, really nice and cordial. We played well. We played good enough to win.
There's a video out there of you in the middle of a huddle singing "We Ready" with the team in the post-game locker room. How many times have you had the opportunity to be in the middle of something like that with the gratitude of that victory? The first FBS win for Southern Utah in football since 2013, since they knocked off South Alabama.
Yeah, our coaching staff has won some games, and they need a lot of credit in this. Our coaching staff's won some games over the year, and we've had some of those celebrations in the locker room. But every one of them is not as good as what the next one's going to be. It's special, and it's a special time with the young men because they work so hard during the week, and they enjoy the release and the celebration. They deserve the release and the celebration after a game like that. Spencer, I don't pay attention to the lines, but I'm sure we were big underdogs on Saturday.
6.5 points. Not that I pay attention.
Six and a half. You're allowed to pay attention.
I am allowed to pay attention.
Yeah, 6.5 points. So we were a touchdown underdog against them, and went in there and played well enough to win.
When you look at what happened in that game, there was a lot to it.
Yeah.
There was an 11-point deficit in the first half. There was a comeback. The defense had to make some adjustments to that UTEP offense that was moving the ball really well in the first half. What changed for your team first half to the second?
Yeah, got Lyle and Colin with us, and they can tell you that all week for 7 straight days, we talked to them about you're not going to win the game in the first quarter. You're not going to win it in 2 quarters of play. If they get up a score or 2, keep playing. If we get up a score or 2, keep playing because the game's going to continue. We knew that it was going to take 3 hours of us playing extremely hard to win that game. And I think it was game time 3:05. Is that what the total time was? So I was off by 5 minutes. But we knew we were going to have to play extremely hard and extremely physical for 3 hours to win, and they did.
You got a couple of offensive linemen with you guys. I want to get your reaction, Lyle. We'll start with you. When that kick went wide to the left, what was going through your head?
We won. I was going crazy, dude. Like, me and Colin were jumping up and down like everybody was. I even went up to Fitz, and I, got my moment in to, really strike him.
Told Did you guys get him with a Gatorade bath?
No, we should have, though. But,
that's the best part of winning on the last play. There's no bath.
Yeah. We'll get him, though.
That's Fitz's favorite part.
We're going to get more opportunities to get him. But, no, I was super excited to celebrate with my guys and the coaches and everybody. But, yeah, it was great. It was awesome.
Colin, that was a 3-hour game. It was a dogfight, really, from start to finish. UTEP came out fast and furious. You guys had a response. They continued to put the pressure on. What was it like to come out with a win after a game like that?
Oh, man, it was awesome. Coach told us it would take at least 4 quarters, and he wasn't wrong. It took a little more than 4 quarters, and It was exhausting, but it was a great win.
Was the game a little bit sweeter knowing you're going against some of the same players and the same coaching staff that took you guys to a double overtime loss last year?
100%. Kyle Safarchuk came up to me once we went into overtime, and he was just talking about how we went into double overtime with Austin P, and now same head coach, and we're going in overtime again. So that was a great win.
Well, for somebody like me who enjoys calling entertaining games, I think you and Coach Walden should just go up against each other every single year, Coach. I mean, it's what the people clearly want, because that was a really, really fun football game to be a part of. Do you think it's the craziest one you've been a part of since you got to Southern Utah?
Scotty's a little younger than me, so his heart probably takes these matchups a little better than I do. I almost have to remove myself mentally so that I don't come down too hard on the officials or too hard on the players. Sit back and relax and just coach a little bit. Most exciting game since I've been here, guys.
Definitely.
These two been here the whole time I've been here. Yeah, it was a good one. It was a really, really good one. We knew it would take everything we had to be successful, and when you do that, it's just really gratifying.
You guys had a first touchdown that had 3 quarterbacks on the field. Not one, not 2, but 3 quarterbacks on the field. You snap to one, hand off to another, pitch to another. Talk about that play call to get you on the board.
Yeah, that's a good one. Darius G. Smith played design, and Darius and them did some of that stuff at Villanova and UMass when he was there, and he put that in a couple of weeks ago. We've been practicing that for 3 or 4 weeks. Won't be the last time. Spencer, we're fortunate, and the fair lot of teams in the country, if the main guy you look at what's going on up the road from us now in Salt Lake City. If the quarterback goes down, all of a sudden that they're not as good. Just the entire football team is not as good when the starting quarterback goes down. We have 3 good ones, and we're going to play them. We won't play them a ton, but there's going to be a time or 2 in each game where all of them are on the field together.
When you look at what your team did offensively, I remember asking you post-game about how the offense played, the passing game, how the ground game really came alive in the second half. Had just, I think, 48 rushing yards at the break, but then Targi Lamson ends the game with 183 yards on 20 carries. And 2 touchdowns. You told me, Coach, that if you were calling the plays, you'd just run power every single play. You'd window dress it a little, but you just run power on every play. There were plenty of power plays in this game. Talk about your rushing attack.
Yeah, if I was calling the plays, and I'm archaic now, we would have 6 personnel groups, 12 different formations, and they just get in a huddle and say power. They just know what to do. Just one word, power. Just run power and power and power. And if you've got guys up front like these 2 and a couple others, and you got a fullback and a tight end that'll block it, you'll be successful that way. Now, we'd probably have 15 people in the stands because it wouldn't be very exciting, but that's what I'd do. Hey, win-loss record would be pretty good.
That's what people, I think, care about the most at the end of the day is how much you win and how much you lose. But any final thoughts on this game against UTEP, Coach?
No, great game. We have to put it away and be better for the next game. We play a really good opponent this weekend. Got to put it away and move forward. Appreciate the people of El Paso and all the hospitality we were given down there. We'd do it again. We'd go back and play them again. So
it was a fun environment as long as they'd have us back. I think that was a really, really great environment to be a part of. I think they had over 40,000 people there in the stands. And, Lyle, when you're in a road environment like that, how much harder is it to play offensively?
It's really not that much harder when you've done it a lot. I know we haven't played in front of ginormous crowds, but we played at Utah last week. I think they had more fans there, but honestly, I think it was louder at UTEP than it was at Utah. I think the fans are a little bit crazier, being maybe a little intoxicated or something. That plays a factor. But no, you just got to lock in and just focus on the job. You can't let the external stuff affect you, or it's gonna make your play go down a lot. But I mean, it's exciting though. It really is exciting, especially when you score and shut them all up. That's the best part.
Colin, you've been here for the last couple of years, and you've only blocked until this season for Justin Miller behind center. Jackson Berry back there. We've seen Bronson Barron, Jordan Peugeot as well. What is it about Jackson that gives you guys the confidence to go out there and win a football game like that?
Well, he's always confident. Jackson never lacks confidence, but he's a hard worker, always working hard in the weight room, on the field, everywhere. And it's been great to see him step into that role as a leader and as the starting quarterback. And especially during this game, he really put his speed on display, and that was great to see as well.
You guys have both been starting offensive linemen for the last couple of years. When you look at the rushing numbers from Saturday, does that just make you grin ear to ear, just like, yeah, we did that. We accomplished that.
More. Need more, though.
Need more. Need even more.
More. Yeah,
Spencer,
we do.
250,
Yeah.
250 on the ground in the second half. We got after them. Got after them up front in the second half. Got after these guys and their teammates. Got after their front seven.
Coach, would you say that's the identity of this football team is its ability to run the football?
We're going to end up a little more balanced than we were the other night, and we have something to be desired right now in the pass game. Got to have more out of our receivers, tight ends, running backs, and our quarterback, especially in the pass game. I think we'll end up a little more balanced, Spencer. It is always nice to know that you can just line up and hammer somebody in the run game, though.
Let's take a football pause and get to our student spotlight, brought to you by Visit Cedar City. And Brian Head, Lyle Santos, and Colin Gardner are with us here on the Thunderbird Coaches Show. I'm Spencer McLaughlin in for John Smith. Lyle, let's start with you. You've been in Cedar City for the last several years. It's a wonderful place. What is your favorite thing to do here in town?
I mean, other than playing football, because that's what we do most of the time we're in here, I'd say just hanging out with my girlfriend and her family and, you know, going to places to eat. I feel like by now, Colin will say the same. He's been to every single place more than 5 times, I'm sure. But just hanging out.
No, you have not.
I have. I really have. I have, though. Maybe not every single place, but, like, I've been almost everywhere.
It's like 75 restaurants in town, 18 Mexican restaurants.
Yeah.
I'm
close, though.
You haven't hit the 6 Thai restaurants in town.
I haven't actually hit one of them. I'm not.
You haven't hit any of the Thai restaurants
no,
yet?
I'm actually not.
Oh.
Sam tries to get me to go to one of them.
You don't like the hot food?
Not really, no.
I
think Colin does.
Okay,
though.
but you can calm down the spice level. Like they'll ask you 1 to 5 how much spice you want.
0.
Thai food is excellent.
I know.
There are a couple good spots in town. So
I need
you
to
should, as is usually the case for us fellows, we should be listening to our wives and girlfriends and take them up on such recommendations. Colin, what about you? What's your favorite thing to do in town?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing as Lyle, if I'm being honest, going out to eat with my wife. But I'll give a different answer. I love to go on. My wife likes to pull me along walks.
On walks. Where do you guys like to go in town?
There are tons of trails by our house. There's a trail that goes through the Gardner Park over by the canyon, and that's a great one.
That's awesome. Do you have a favorite spot that you like to eat in town? Since Lyle's been to them all, do you have one that stands out?
Well, we had a favorite. It was a brick house on Main Street, but they closed. So until that opens back up, I'm not sure. Probably one of the Thai places, Benisa Thai, has some really good Thai food.
One of the Thai places. You should take your good buddy Lyle over here.
Benisa Sweet Basil.
Yeah.
Sweet Basil over in the strip mall.
Yeah, I've been to Sweet Basil. Sweet Basil's good.
Yeah, they bring you out a canned Mountain Dew, cool or cold. You can't.
By the way, for those listening on podcast, Colin's got water, Lyle's got water, I have water. Coach's got a Mountain Dew. It is 11:20 in the morning, and Coach is charging up with the Mountain Dew. You've never seemed like the type that needs a caffeine
We're not going
bump.
to talk about what I drank before 11 a.m. Yeah, keep it. Say, Dutch Brothers and Starbucks will never go out of business as long as I'm living here.
Well, that's good to hear for the businesses in town because we love supporting the community and it's a wonderful place to live. So let's get on to our preview for the week with this week's opponent, UC Davis, brought to you by the Warehouse Bar Plus Kitchen. They've got food, they've got drinks, they provide a welcoming environment for people 21 and over, everything that you want. They show live sports as well, so go check out Warehouse Bar Plus Kitchen. We appreciate them sponsoring the Thunderbird Coaches Show. So let's talk about UC Davis this week. Coach, your team is getting votes to be in the FCS top 25 after the big win against UTEP. UC Davis is already there, and they were there when Southern Utah, when we went to Davis, California last year. It was a close competitive football game, came up just a little bit short. But when I tell you you're playing UC Davis this week, what's the first thing that goes through your mind?
Well, you started it off with the votes, and it makes me cringe. As Nick Saban would talk about the rat poison, I need these guys and their teammates not to listen to that mess this week. But there's a whole lot of being patted on the back.
They were voted 127th. Does that help?
There you go. I'll take 127. Actually, as Presbyterians still hold that distinction.
I have no idea.
Is that who's 127?
I have no idea.
Anyhow, I think it's Mercyhurst. But anyhow, that. Football teams, athletic teams are a lot better after adversity than they are after prosperity. And I worry about the too much of being told how great we are this week affecting us this weekend. You asked about UC Davis. Great football program, not a good football program, a great one. Chris Peterson, your man at the University of Washington, Boise State, the upset of Oklahoma. He's a Davis guy. Dan Hawkins is a Davis guy. They got football tradition going back a long, long ways. I always laugh at I don't laugh, but I smile at the tight copy of their film because their end zone has all the conference titles in the back of the end zone, and it's like 30-plus conference titles. You look at the conference titles on the side of our stadium, and we're up to 4. We've been playing football here 100 years, and we've got 4. But just great tradition there. On to what they have right now. The number one ranked tailback in the country, a quarterback that does a nice job for them. They're solid up front, good tight ends, got 2 or 3 good receivers. Can't say enough about them. The head coach is the offensive coordinator, play caller, and has experience calling plays. Does a nice job. That they do a nice job. Flip over on the defensive side of the ball, and they've got an All-American safety running around, and he's the real deal. He's the eraser for them, a Utah native, but he cleans it up for them and does a nice job. His brother starting at outside linebacker, good player. They're really good up front. Spencer, I think they've got 1 or 2 kids at the defensive end position, probably going to collect a pro contract, but they're good there. Just really solid. I'm leaving out some good players that they have. They don't have any holes. That they don't have any holes. I think right now we've got some holes on offense and some holes on defense that we've got to get squared away this week. They don't have any holes. They play really, really hard. They're smart. They don't make mistakes that beat themselves. They play hard on special teams.
This is the first home game that you guys are going to play this year after a couple of weeks on the road. Coach, how excited are you to showcase this year's football team to the Cedar City fans?
Yeah, when you don't have to pull out your what is that thing called where you put your toothbrush and all that in the bag?
Toiletries bag?
Your toiletries bag. Hey, they ought to be able to come up with a better name than that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Regan, is there a better name for that? No, Regan's shaking his head. If anybody would know, I feel like Regan would know for some reason.
Yeah, guys, Regan Hunsaker is the brain trust behind this production. Yeah, when you don't have to pull your bag out from under the sink and fill it and get on a plane, it's a good weekend.
When you have a couple of weeks on the road and then you get to come and be at home, what's the biggest difference in the process of getting ready for the game? What's the
you have
biggest
more
adjustment?
time. Yeah, you have more time, and the coaches and the players have less on their mind, less to think about, but because you don't have to pack and you don't have to get to the airport. And then when you get to the airport, you don't have to get off and get to the hotel. You don't sleep in a bed that you're not used to. The statistic by somebody a couple years ago that your sleep in a hotel is usually about 55% of what you would get sleep at home. So our guys get to sleep better, coaches get to sleep better, and the whole thing's a plus.
When you look at UC Davis and how capable they are, how do you feel like your football team's able to match up?
Yeah. Early to comment on that one. I think they're good. I think they're good, and I think it takes a heck of an effort and a lot better execution from us to be successful this weekend.
You talked about the messaging going into this week for your team after a big win. You don't have to go very far in the college football space to hear about the emotional letdown after a big win. I think you saw it with Notre Dame this past weekend. They go on the road, they beat Texas A&M, come back home, and they get stunned by Northern Illinois out of the Mid-American Conference. What is your message going to be to your team throughout this week to have them ready to play at that same
Notre
level?
Dame lays an egg on Saturday and lets Northern Illinois steal all of our thunder. We might have made Sports Center. It might have been a big deal. Everybody's talking about Northern Illinois. Hey, congratulations to them. But you're exactly right. I call it the hangover. I talked to you about Nick Saban and the rat poison. Don't eat the rat poison, and that's all praise is. That prosperity and praise, just rat poison setting you up for failure. Spencer, it happens after a big win. Also happens after a big loss. You go somewhere and get drummed 50-0, and you don't play well the following week, usually also. So it happens both ways, but we're on the prosperity end of it this week, and just got to get the guys' minds back right.
You talked about offensively and defensively a couple things you'd like to see your football team clean up. What are those aspects that you want to improve upon this week?
Yeah, our right tackle's got to play better. Our right tackle's got to play better and play with more physicality and more heart and desire. We've got to get better in the passing game. We've got to protect the quarterback better than we did last week. So those things have to happen on offense. You flip over on defense, we've got to be ready to play at the start of the game. UTEP didn't play well on the first drive. We gave them a touchdown. We have 5 opportunities to get off the field, and our defense just refuses to do the right thing. Spencer not ready to play at the start of the game, not playing fast, not getting a line, not getting our eyes in the right spot. We've got to clean all of that up. Got to have better production out of the punter. Got to have better production out of our punter and not shanking punts up in the stands. We've shanked 3 or 4 punts in 2 games, which is more than you should shank in an entire season. But we've got to get that straight this week. And then our guys executing on special teams. Execution and effort on special teams need to be better.
Lyle, I want to go to you on the offensive line, and Colin, I'll bring you in here in just a moment. You guys had an excellent second half rushing the football. How do you guys, after a first half where it was a little bit more of a struggle and a second half that had so much success, how do you guys approach going into this week to try and carry over that second half level of play?
I think the best thing you can do is just focus on what you need to get better at. And as a group, it's cliche to say, but we got to get better at everything. But like Coach Fitz said, got to clean up a few things here and there, and you just got to focus on what's in front of you. Master the mundane. We used to get that a lot. Master the mundane of every practice and indies and all that kind of stuff, and just embrace the hard that comes with it, and just attack every single day the best we can, and it's going to put us in a good spot on Saturday.
Master the mundane. Coach, is
mundane.
that one of your phrases, Coach?
That's not me. That's
No.
too smart.
We used to get
me.
it a lot. But it's something I think about. Like practice, you do a lot of the same things over and over and over again, and I think that's the mundane maybe. That's the mundane part. So just mastering that and just fighting to get better every single way you can is what gives you the best chance to win. But if we can run the ball like we did in the second half and the first half, then we're going to be in a good spot, I think. So
you mentioned the word indies in there. For those who might not know, what does that mean for an offensive line?
So it's just short for individuals. Everybody goes into individual periods during practice, and that's where you're just with your position coach and you're just working drills. And, I mean, I could go on and on about the drills we work, but, yeah, indies is just individuals with your position coach.
Colin, you guys have a defensive front that played really well on Saturday against UTEP and sacked Skylar Locklear a couple times, didn't let the running game get going in the second half. How helpful is that for you guys as an offensive line to go against them in practice all week?
Oh, man, I think it makes a huge difference, especially for me at tackle. I have to go up against really great defensive ends every single day at practice. And they challenge me every day, and they definitely make it easier when we get to game day.
One of those guys that's new this year is Lando Brown. Coach, someone you talked to me about as being a high-energy, high-motor, highly productive sort of guy who set all sorts of records at El Camino Community College at his last stop. How many times have you gone up against him in practice, Colin, and how many times have you won those reps?
Well, I mean, I win reps here and there, but he's fast. He is no joke fast, and I'm sure you guys saw on Saturday him bending the corner around those tackles and getting to the QB. And it's great to see him do that to somebody in a different jersey.
Yeah. He's not the biggest guy out there. Coach, you told me he stands 5'7", 5'8" or so?
5 foot nothing.
What makes it possible for a guy like that at the defensive line position? I mean, he's not that much taller than me, and I'm definitely not – my nickname is Smalls. For a reason, has been since middle school.
Should have never told us that.
That's true. I could have kept that a secret, but that's no fun. Now you get to have fun with me with that, and you do whatever you like. But a guy that small, how different is that going up against your prototypical edge guy in the modern college football world that's 6'3", 6'4", maybe 6'5", and 240, 250?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because you look across the line and you see Walker Harris, who kind of is, like what you said, that prototypical college football D end right now, and then you see Lando on the other side. And like Coach Fitz said, he's not as tall as most D ends, but he's real tough. Obviously, you have to be tough to be that size playing D end down in the trenches, and he doesn't ever quit on a play. He is high effort, high motor, and I think that's what gets the job done a lot of the times.
Coach, I want to go to you on the secondary. There are some returning faces from last year, guys like Lacaria Pleasant-Johnson and George Ramirez. There are some new faces as well. What have you seen from that unit through 2 weeks?
They're really proud of LPJ, really proud of Lacaria Pleasant-Johnson's maturity and leadership. He took 70-some snaps the other night and played well. Hoping he can stay on that track for the entire fall, but just been a real difference in him, work ethic and character-wise the last 6 months. Devin Perkins on the other side, got to pick it up. Got to pick it up and got to play fast from start to finish, and got to buy in and just play really, really hard and cover the guys he's supposed to cover and tackle the guys he's supposed to tackle. It took Cam Roca a little while to get going on Saturday night, and after the first 2 drives,
had a great game.
He was pretty good after that. He's running and he's fast. Spencer, he can run and he can cover ground and cover up a lot of mistakes on other people by how fast he's moving. But just looking for him to be more consistent. And then George is George. George is usually in the right spot at the right time. We need him to tackle better than he did the other night. We need him to do some things better in coverage. But George is always solid back there.
When you have a quarterback like Miles Hastings for UC Davis, how important is that secondary to play well this week?
Yeah, if we don't play better, he'll pick us apart. He's a good football player. He makes the right decisions. He's very accurate with his throws, and then he turns around and has those 2 or 3 good receivers. Just right off the top of my head, number 1 and number 4, along with those tight ends, do a nice job.
When you look at what UC Davis brings on the defensive side of the ball, what do you think the offense has to accomplish first and foremost to have success?
Yeah, their defense is big and strong and smart, and they play really, really well. Can't praise them enough. We have to be fundamentally sound on offense, and then we've got to be really, really physical. We have to match their physicality.
Coach, last thing, and then we can move towards letting you guys go and get back to drinking Mountain Dew, and no practice today.
This will be my only Mountain. I'm trying to get this will be my only Mountain Dew today.
The only one. Do you hear how sad he is saying that? That's the saddest I've ever heard you sound, Coach.
Spencer, you hit your late 40s. You ain't got but a couple pleasures in life left. How about you let me keep one of them?
I wasn't trying to take it away from you. I was saying you can get back to enjoying. You have as many as you like, but
you know my favorite color is Mountain Dew green, right?
Mountain Dew green. That's your favorite color.
My favorite color.
Well, if you're ever trying to send Coach Fitz a gift, just let it be known that you should make it Mountain Dew green.
Take some Mountain Dews.
Hey,
Yeah.
do you know his? Sorry to cut you off. Do you know his college diet?
No, give me this. Give me this
dude,
right
so like
now.
He'll
right
talk
now.
about Colin will back me. He'll talk, obviously to the guys like about gaining weight and stuff, and he's told us before. Like, I can't remember exactly what his Taco Bell order would be, but it consisted of a bunch of bean and cheese burritos with some Mountain Dew. So I think the Mountain Dew's been in his life for a long time. So that's why it's big with him. But
is that what gave you the?
I'm sorry, I had to.
Is that what gave you the tenacity, Coach?
We can dive into it for a second. I was broke, guys. I grew up with not a whole lot, and I look back on it now, and I think my father did it to my brother and I on purpose, but he kept us broke. And trying to gain weight. I was a high school quarterback, graduated 172 pounds, got to college, couldn't make the throws. I couldn't stand on the right hash. Back then, you take a 5 and 7 step drop, have to throw the square out or the comeback on the left sideline. I had no chance. So I had to figure out how to play. Well, my way to playing was to go from 170 up to 230 so that I could play fullback. And I went to our strength and conditioning coach at James Madison, Zach Weatherford, went on to be the Olympic ski team strength conditioning coach, if I'm not mistaken, in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I don't know where he's at now, but I went to him and said, I got a problem. I don't have any food and I don't have any money. How do I gain weight? And he goes, 89-cent bean burritos at Taco Bell. So
that's how you got up to 230 pounds. Bean burritos and Mountain Dew.
89 cents. Now, the part that the players like was this. I'd go get 2, 3, 4 89-cent bean burritos.
4?
Oh, and they were huge.
Okay, I could see. Okay,
they were huge.
If I'm truly hungry, 2 is workable. 3 for a football player, okay. 4, that's a stomach of steel.
I gained 57 pounds in college. I gained 57 pounds in college, and I was about 5% body fat. I was living in the gym, but where they get a kick out of it is I'd have 2 bean burritos, and I'm stuffing them down while I'm washing them down with a 32-ounce Mountain Dew because Taco Bell has Mountain Dew, right? I would set my 32-ounce Mountain Dew on the side of the track at Bridgeforth Stadium in Harrisonburg and do all the conditioning run. We'd condition for 45 minutes, 15 110s, no matter what it was. I'd come on off the track when I was done, pick my Mountain Dew up, back in the locker room I'd go.
That's excellent.
That was my nutrition.
That's excellent. That's absolutely excellent. By the way, Colin and Lyle, have you guys noticed at practice that Coach Fitz has forgotten more about the game of football and names in football than any of us are ever going to know? Does that come out? Because as someone who has conversations with him about football, he will pull out names. Like you heard him mention the strength and conditioning coach who went on to, what was it? He went to coach the strength and conditioning.
Zach Weatherford.
And he did strength and conditioning for...
He was the Olympic ski team strength conditioning coach.
Ski team strength and conditioning coach. When I tell you that he could pull out one of those names in football every 10 seconds that he speaks, I am not exaggerating in any way, shape, or form. Does that come out at practice at all, just the innate knowledge, or is he too busy telling you to win your indies?
Yeah, I think, more of that than anything. You should quiz him with the out-ofs, like just hit him with a random college football player from wherever and then see if he can name where they came from.
Well, I tell you what, I tell you what we should do. Regan, you can take this suggestion or not, but I think you should have a Stump Fitz segment of the show where you try to come up with a college football trivia question that Fitz does not know the answer to. Because
figure it out.
I tell you what, I could do some research, and I bet you I would struggle stumping him as long as I'm asking him something within reason. What do you think about that, Coach?
So here's the truth: is I'm just completely full of nonsense. So I'd give you the wrong answer and then make you believe that I was right.
But see, I'd come ready with the answer, and I wouldn't let you do that.
Oh no, you'd have the answer in front of you, and I'd have you believe that you had researched it wrong.
That's Fitz for you right there.
Just complete and total mind games from Coach. Colin Gardner, Lyle Santos, our student athlete spotlights brought to you by Visit Cedar City Bryan Head today. Coach Fitz, any final words?
We got to do shout outs, guys. Shout outs, men.
Oh yes, indeed. My apologies.
Good. You got it.
You can go
Okay.
first.
Oh, me go first.
right.
Y'all
All right,
already?
you go
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, me go first. Hey, big shout out to my man Dwight Sims. Dwight flew into El Paso from San Antonio on Friday. Spent the weekend with us. Here's a college football stat that has never been used. Okay, Dwight's a Frostburg alum. We used to have him speak to our players there. Prison warden in Texas, but does a great job. Public speaker. Our coaching staff is undefeated when Dwight Sims is in the building, and we're up to something like 20-0, and he don't pick like he didn't go to. He comes 3 seasons ago. He comes to Sam Houston. Like, he picks the big ones. Last year he's at Tarleton State. This year he's at UTEP. And then we were in Frostburg. He only came to the big games, came to homecoming, came to the rivalry games. But anyway, undefeated with Dwight in the building. My brother flew in from Los Angeles. Got to spend a weekend with him. And as we've gotten older and become professionals, we see each other less and less. So it was good to see him for a couple of days. He may enjoy our success better, more than our coaches and players do. But it was nice catching up with him. My man Stephen Howard, radio TV personality in the old Texas town of El Paso. I fell in love with her. Steve,
that wasn't bad.
Nah, it's
that
terrible.
No. You haven't heard terrible till you hear me try to sing, which you'll never get me to do.
Are you saying that I can drop this coaching gig and make a living singing?
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said, nor is it what I was implying, per se. I just said not bad. I've heard bad.
My buddy Stephen Howard, a fellow Virginian, grew up in Martinsville, Virginia, but TV radio personality in El Paso. It was great to see him on Friday night. He was at the game on Saturday, but it was nice to see them. Spencer, they don't get enough credit. Needs to be a huge shout out to our coaching staff, and these guys need to that they know what's going on. I have been fortunate enough and lucky enough that we have a staff full of ball coaching Joes now, a bunch of football coaching guys that kind of eat, sleep, and breathe it. Just really, really fortunate to be able to work with them.
Awesome, love that. Since neither of you wanted to go, I'm going to make one of you go.
No,
and that's
I'll go.
you. I'm going to make Colin go.
I'm ready.
I'd already made it up in my head. Colin says he's ready. Colin, shout outs to end the show.
Yep, shout out to my wife, Whitney, my family, parents and brothers, and shout out to my in-laws as well, Ryan and Christy, and my little sisters-in-law, Maylee and Lindsay.
Fantastic. Family shout out, standard. You can't ever go wrong shouting out the family. That helps get you there. Lyle, you wrap it up.
Obviously all of my family too, mom, dad, brother, sister, nephew, all my aunts and uncles, all my cousins. All of them are the biggest SU fans, seriously, since I've been here. 2019, forever ago, they've always bled SU just like I have. Shout out to Coach White, just getting us ready every single week, being the absolute best he can be for us no matter what the situation is, always focusing on getting us better. Shout out to the Levitts for always looking after us, helping us any way they can. Great people that support our program like no other as well. And shout out to the whole SU football team.
Awesome. Well,
that's
and my girlfriend Sam and her family. Cannot forget them. That's way up there. I'm so sorry.
That was real close.
I'm
that
sorry.
was close. Because I got to tell you, once I get into the final wrap of a show, I'm hard to cut off, man.
Exactly. I'm
sorry,
hard
to cut off. Oof, boy.
Same.
They brought up the people that support us. A big shout out to Reggie at the Warehouse Bar and Kitchen and everything he's done for us over the year. My man Bevan at Retro is a superstar. I don't know anybody at Bryan Head that's sponsoring the show right now, but hey, beautiful place. Everybody should try it once or twice, 3 times in their life. Hey, these two. We got wife Whitney, girlfriend Sam. They are very, very, their self-evaluation of themselves is really, really good, and they've come up with they're not very athletic. So they're trying to help the next generation of Gardners and Santoses by Colin is married to the star soccer player here on the soccer team, and Lyle is dating the shooting guard on the basketball team. Hey, proud of you guys for knowing your faults and trying to fix them.
Awesome.
Yeah, shout out to Sam though, dude. I can't believe I almost forgot that. She's awesome.
I kind of can't believe you almost forgot.
Dig a hole.
Dig a hole.
He already did that. He already digged the hole. It's about digging his way out of it now. But Colin Gardner, Lyle Santos, head coach Delane Fitzgerald. Appreciate it. That's going to do it for our coaches show this week. I'm Spencer McLaughlin in for John Smith. He will be back in this chair next week. Thanks for listening, everybody, and hope to see you this Saturday against UC Davis in the home opener for football at the Eccles Coliseum. Till then, have a wonderful rest of your day.
Go Thunderbirds.